So what's up guys, welcome back to another video. It's Aleksi here. So in this video I want to talk about God and the lifelong pursuit of truth, because a lot of times people also don't understand that, faith isn't something you just come into for till you change a bit and then you get blessings and then you somehow stop believing in God. It's not like that. A lot of people kind of pursue God in that way. They seek the good times from God, they pray to God, in the bad times they get good times and then they forget about God. And that's how a lot of people treat God, especially, those who follow Jesus purely. People just kind of ask for grace and blessings, and that's all they're interested in. And then they abandon God in the good times. They ask for please heal my parents, or, heal me, or, give me money or something, material blessings, whatever it is. And then they just abandon God. But, the thing is, nothing of those things really lasts, that you ask from God to have in the flesh, whatever blessings. And those blessings, have no real meaning, in a sense of it's all for the flesh anyway. Those temporary things like your health and everything else degrades, and eventually this body degrades and we die. What are you actually left with after you get those blessings? Of course, there are worse and better circumstances to live in. You could live in a circumstance where you have more money or less money, or you could be in bad health or good health. Of course you prefer to be in good health and have more money, of course, for comfort. But there's also the fact that that comfort doesn't necessarily grow you on your faith journey. And what we really should and come to experience here on earth is for our soul to grow, and not for us to covet the flesh and be in satanic dispositions that don't help us at all in any way to grow. And after we leave this earth, what do we actually have left? Nothing we have in this world can we carry to the next, right? Your soul is the only thing that will leave your body, and that is the only thing you have. So think about it from that perspective. The only thing you should focus on in that regard that actually has legacy is your soul and what you did with your soul. Did you pursue God? Did you pursue truth? Did you come to understand God? And true happiness comes from God anyway, and peace. It's not like true happiness comes from coveting the flesh, or even here sitting in this nice beach. It's a temporary moment, it's very nice, it feels very good, but I still know this is a temporary moment in my fleshly experience. It's appreciable, and enjoyable enough, but it's not the primary thing I'm chasing, in a sense. I'm trying to change myself according to the truth, chase God, chase growing my soul and understanding myself better, because that is what lasts in eternity. Nothing else lasts to eternity. It's not like you're gonna take your Porsche or Lambo or whatever, to the next life. So it doesn't really matter. And even that, it gets old after a few weeks of driving a new car or having a new house or being in people also have fantasy ideas about owning these things like cars and mansions and everything else. I haven't experienced everything on this planet, of course, but I've seen a lot of people who have you could say testified in their own way that all these material wealth blessings are not really worth it, and they usually leave you very empty, and every experience is very short-lived. It doesn't matter if it's simple enjoyment of the flesh or something more expensive. It's all short-lived either way. Same thing with promiscuity and hookups and sex that people have, uselessly, and it's all just coveting of the flesh, right? Same thing with overeating. You overeat, you might feel good for a moment, then you feel really bad. That's basically the devil in a nutshell, and everything regarding. And this is where you need to understand that this is a lifelong pursuit, and you need to pursue the truth properly. And life is a long time to experience, in a sense. Obviously we're short on time right now, as you still only have so many years left before God finishes his work, and it's very important for you to pursue God and truth right now, because we don't have forever. We still have limited time on this earth, but we still have a relatively long time in the sense of growing our soul. But right now, of course, we're in a bit of you could say urgency. Even God urges us to pursue the truth and read the truth, understand God, and come to know God, and pray to God, and worship God. Times are running short. But still, I guess if we could go back 20 years, we would have a bit more time, but, the most important thing you can do right now is pursue the truth. And it's the only thing that matters, and it's a lifelong pursuit. And, after those who remain will then, of course, still be according to the truth, and it's a lifelong pursuit. And worshipping God and knowing God is a lifelong pursuit, and growing your soul as well is. So that's all I really wanted to say in this video is, it's important to know that following God is a lifelong pursuit, and you should not focus on these blessings and useless temporary things. And understand that living with God is a lifelong thing, and even we continue to live with God in eternity, unless you end up in hell, of course, but that's for another time. If there's a will, there's a way. God bless. Amen. Thank you for watching. 101 subscription, Danish subscription.